computer. I always do this. Happens every time. Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to the HollyHood Zoomcast, episode number 3. My name is Aji Manj. Sante Goodman. Raji, for short.
Brad Goodman, aka Young Goody Good. Well, maybe not young, but Goody Good nonetheless.
TJ Goodman. No AKAs. Actually, the list is too long. We'll just go with TJ. How about that?
All right, I'm gonna put it on speaker now. Yo. So that way it's on our regular one. So this time we got into the biggest dirtbags in movie history. I don't know about anyone else, but my list was very, very, very long. Just to get into what I meant by dirtbag. So some of the people who I talked to, they were like, dirtbags, what exactly do you mean? And I was like, dirtbag is somebody who's not necessarily playing a role as a villain. They just become like a villain and you hate it. So you'll kind of get the gist of it as we go through our list. But I mean, some of the ones that I got from when I reached out to people was Mr. from The Color Purple. He's the one that mentioned Mr. Occam from Saving Private Ryan. That said that guy was the biggest dirtbag in their opinion. More on him to come later. Case from 48 Hours was also a mention from some of the people that I read. Yeah, Case.
Not Mcnulty, but
Case.
Mcnulty was Case. Okay.
Yeah.
He was just doing it.
And the last one from other people was Harper from The Best Man, which was Taye Diggs' character, and he was a dirtbag. He did some. I forgot about that one. That was pretty scummy. He was scum, man. He was scum. But like before we get into it, man, let's go over our honorable mentions. T, what honorable mentions did you have for biggest dirtbags in movie history?
Are you on them all or just one? What are we doing here?
We're down 2 men today. Ant Dog ain't here. Shout out. The Black Droog, aka the Odd Ninja, ain't here. Shout out. So go ahead, man.
All right. Now this one was also given to me. Cypher from The Matrix. Sure, you guys remember Cypher.
Yeah. He was a dirtbag. Man, I missed that one.
Yeah, he was a dirtbag. Yeah, man, he stabbed them all in the back. And I mean, for me, like you went over what your dirtbag criteria already. Mine's similar, but you'll find the pattern in mine is, for the most part, they were trusted people, and they did something to completely violate the trust and revealed themselves to be dirtbags. Like villains to me, they're just villains, right? They're not exactly dirtbags. That's just who they are. But these people are, friends, co-workers, significant others, and you find out that they've been, undermining you the whole time or stabbing you in the back. So Cypher is the honorable mention for The Matrix.
That's a good one.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this one was given to me too, and it doesn't fit what I just said, but they're dirtbags. Randolph&MortimerDuke from Trading Places. Now, not only did they drop the big end and they ruined a guy's life over a $1 bet, at the very end, when one of the brothers had a heart attack or something, the other brother, what did he do? He said, Kim, right?
Yeah.
He's just worried about the money. So those guys, they deserve some mention. They deserve some burn for that. Another one on my dirtbag list, I had to bring him up, even though it's not technically a movie, is I think his name's Anatoly Dyatlov or something like that. He was the deputy chief engineer at the Chernobyl nuclear plant.
Oh my gosh, yeah, man.
He was terrible, man. I just
it was awful.
I found him to be completely deplorable. The whole thing was his fault.
If you haven't seen Chernobyl, like that is something to behold. That's quite a little mini series. But I tell you what, I saw it right before the pandemic hit, and I will tell you what, man, that crushed my soul.
Yeah, it was rough.
Crushed my soul.
It was rough, man. It's hard to keep watching, wasn't it? I mean, it was great. It was great miniseries, but all of it just felt so unnecessary. All the bad stuff that happened. You see, I also got Catherine from Cruel Intentions. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, but she was just, her and her her stepbrother were
Oh,
bad people.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Remember her, right?
Yeah, they were dirt.
Yeah, they were both bad, but at least he kind of grew to have some kind of heart and remorse. Not her, man.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, she even stabbed him in the back.
Yeah,
they were like the only two
he was the OG of the bunch.
He was cold-blooded, man. And then the last honorable mention is Simon from True Lies. Now, you guys probably don't remember his actual name, but you know the character.
Oh, you're talking about
car salesman.
Car salesman, yeah.
The used car salesman. He's just an absolute scumbag, man. Yeah.
Look, okay, I'll say this for him. There's a valid reason behind this scumminess. Okay.
Why? Because he used car salesman.
Look,
Nah, he was dirt, yo.
He's just trying to get some. That's all, man. It wasn't really. I'm sure if he knew Arnold Schwarzenegger, he might not have played it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's part of what makes him a dirtbag. Right?
Ass like a 10-year-old boy line.
10-year-old boy. Oh, man.
I have to. You're right. With that line alone.
That line alone.
He's awful. I just found
him the worst dudes ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
He's bad,
scum.
man. He is scum.
Hold on a
So
second.
those are all my honorable mentions. I limited it to 5 for the sake of time.
Hey,
that's all I got.
Welcome to the HollyHood episode 3. Antoine, introduce yourself.
What up? What up?
So,
What's
man,
happening? Chilling.
Oh,
What's going on?
Antoine Fisher. I see you still.
Got the glorious background. That joint is hard.
Maybe. What it do?
So, I'm gonna go with my. I'm gonna let you go last. I'm gonna let
Gotta
you go
make sure
last.
I can be seen. Here we go, for sure.
I'm gonna let you go last, Antoine, and I'm gonna dive into my honorable mentions real quick. So I had a lot of them. I had a plethora of honorable mentions. I had Williamson from Glengarry Glen Ross.
Pretty shitty dude.
He was
Pretty
a terrible dirtbag. As TJ often says when we used to discuss this movie, he literally dealt from the bottom of the deck to give Shelley his leads. He was scum all the way through. My main man, Play from House Party. I believe this whole thing could be summed up for Play in one sentence. When he sent Martin to go get Shireen for when they were trying to bail Kid out of jail, and his uncle showed up and he starts yelling and running back to the car. He starts backing out, and Bilal, aka Martin, catches up and he says, "What you doing, man?" And Play says, "I saw you hauling ass. I didn't think both of us should get our asses kicked." So I mean, like, I was like, this guy is the worst. I didn't even mention all the other stuff he did that night. Uncle Wong from Return of the Dragon. I know a lot of y'all didn't see this, so let me just break it down really, really quick. Uncle Wong was the guy who owned the restaurant that Bruce Lee went to Italy to protect. And long story short, when TJ so eloquently broke it down as far as like people who went out on their shield when Chuck Norris was getting broken into a million pieces like Christmas toys, he was up there stabbing his nephews because he was on the side of Chuck Norris. So like this guy is supreme dirty.
Yeah.
He literally stabbed his own family in the back. Literally, like with a knife.
No, hey, look. And the thing that was so shitty about him is all he really had to say was, "Hey fellas, I'm selling the store." That's really all
he could have just made it a money play.
You ain't gotta check nobody's passport. You ain't gotta get your little cousin to come in and beat up the whole town. You just be like, "Hey fellas, I'm shutting this down. I've had enough."
It's true. Yo, another one I had was the professor from Finding Forrester, who was helping on getting my man's out of the school.
Yeah.
He was a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Mickey from Casino.
I like that one.
He was a dirtbag, man. I mean, like, he was a dirtbag through and through. Big Earn from Kingpin. He was like my sixth man, honestly. Big Earn is my sixth man. Yo.
Big Earn was. Hold on, let me scratch that off here. So Big Earn was my guy too.
Big Earn was awful, man.
Big Earn was he was the worst and one of the most beloved scumbags I've ever seen.
When he won and his toupee was up like this, he was like, "Oh my god, this I was like, this dude's the worst."
Look, I absolutely loved him in that movie. He was such a shitty dude. But you know, he was the best worst dude. One of the best worst dudes I've ever seen. I actually cheered for Big Earn.
Yeah, I couldn't, man. I couldn't at the end. But last two. Matt Damon, Departed.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was dirtbag.
He was trash.
He was trash.
He was trash on
Trash.
on a whole lot of levels.
Just for no reason.
Yeah, he was
That's a
trash,
good
yo. He was trash. Last but not least, I didn't remember this cat's name. He was probably top 10. Jill Scott's husband on Why Did I Get Married?
Yo, I forgot about him.
What's his name, Mike or something?
Yeah, I don't remember. It might have been Mike.
That's Mike.
It might have been Mike.
Yeah.
But Shanice was talking about it. I was like, yo.
He was awful.
I was like, this dude made her get. He made her drive because she couldn't fit on the plane.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, look, man.
Ooh.
At some point,
Don't-
personal responsibility has to be taken.
Don't do
I
it.
can't pay for it. He couldn't afford 2 seats.
There would be no big black woman slander on the HollyHood.
He was broke.
Zoomcast today, sucker. Huh?
You
What?
can't defend this guy, man. You can't.
Extra seat.
I've got nothing for him.
He couldn't afford it.
He's the worst, man.
It's blasphemy. I'm done with my honorable mentions,
He
Greg. Go
didn't
ahead.
have no sound extender or nothing. He was broke.
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead,
could have
man.
delivered the message a little better.
Yeah, exactly. I got all my honorable mentions are done, Greg. You go ahead, man.
Oh boy, where do I start? This is a little bit lengthy.
That's what
Go.
she said. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh, one more. I forgot. This one did not go on because it wasn't a movie character, but he has to go on. He would be maybe number one if he wasn't. Uncle Ruckus. All right, now you had to slide him in.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I can give you one from a television show that I thought he was just a real selfish scumbag. Throughout the whole series, he was a good dude, but he was a scumbag too, and that is McNulty from The Wire.
Oh.
He was so beyond selfish in everything he did that I had to put him on the list.
That's
And
a
that's
good
not to say he's exactly a dirtbag, but he's a dirtbag.
Nah.
You know,
He's a dirtbag, yo. He's a
know,
dirtbag.
he would have gone. He wanted,
Yeah.
he was.
Being good at your
selfish.
job doesn't exclude you from being a dirtbag, right?
Exactly.
Hurt could have gone on there too.
That's true, yes.
Yeah.
Hurt could have gone on there too.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
most of the
Could've.
police, almost all the police on The Wire could have gone on there,
That's
with the
true.
exception of Kima and Bunk. Everyone else, pretty shitty. All right. Now I'm just gonna jump into it. First one on I have here for honorable mentions is Willy from Bad Santa. Billy Bob Thornton's character in Bad Santa was committed and total scum, but he was lovable scum. But he is by far the absolute one of the worst people I've ever seen in a movie in my entire life. Just the level of disrespect and just no regard for anyone was just, mwah. It was priceless to me. I loved it. All right, another douche. Sergeant Waters
Ooh.
from A Soldier Story.
Mm.
I don't know if any, you've all seen this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, and the only reason he didn't make my top 5 is because I understood what his intentions were. He just went about it a terrible, terrible way. He was basically he's the black cop that's hard on black people. That's basically what he was. He was just really,
Dude, that cop,
really bad.
that cop
He
from
wasn't
Boys in the
better than
Hood
most
was,
people, huh?
I said that cop from Boys in the Hood was limited, but on a limited scale.
Now that you mentioned it, he's on my list too. He's on my list too. You just ruined that one for everyone.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good. All right, I got from Casino. I've got Ginger.
That's dude's wife.
That's
his wife?
yeah.
Okay.
That's
She was
that's
just
a good one.
completely and totally worthless for all the reasons that you would think.
Man, that's a good
I
one.
also have Big Red.
Oh, from the Five Heartbeats. Huh?
Heartbeats.
Yeah.
Look, not only did he give these dudes just horrible contracts, then tried to yank the main artist, then he had this nigga killed, then he hollered at his wife at the funeral. Who does that? Who goes that hard on scumbagness? Very few. There's very few people that go that hard on scumbagness. All right, who's another one? Okay, this guy, the next couple are kind of iffy. They weren't really all out scumbags, but they did scumbag things. Captain America in
Yeah.
Civil War.
Okay. Talk about it.
All he had to do was pull him aside and be like, look, man, my dude killed your parents. He was under whatever. He didn't have to wait for the man to see it on camera and then expect everything to be all good. Now you got Avenger on Avenger crime. It's the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Avenger on Avenger crime.
You didn't have to go down like that. You didn't have to have Black Panther and Ant-Man out here scrapping with each other. You know what I mean? It's just, it was ridiculous. And it was all because he was, I don't know if he was scared or overly loyal to the wrong side, or I don't know what was going on.
That was
But
a
it was
sucker
a bad
move,
decision.
yo. That was a sucker move,
I
bro.
don't know why he didn't say anything at that point.
Exactly.
I've long debated that with people. He had an easy thing. Just tell him that's your friend.
Dog, we could literally have an episode about that, yo, because
He could have talked that, he could have worked that one out before it got out of hand. But he let it get out of hand.
Yeah.
I've had the Iron Man versus Captain America discussion, and all these cats be like, well, Captain America, man, he was trying to do this dude. I'm like, man, shut up, yo. He killed his mom, yo. Just stop. Stop.
It's simple.
Iron Man's a smart dude. If he would have talked to him early, he could have worked this out.
And you know he's gonna find out. I mean, you know
he's
eventually
gonna
he's gonna find out.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
I
should have
gotta-
headed that one off. Yeah.
I still got a few more, man. I'm sorry, this is just a ridiculously long list. I'll just keep it short. He probably could have been in my top 5, but I didn't do it. That's the dude Oppum from Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Ding, ding,
I
ding.
put him more in the
Yeah, I don't
realm
like that dude.
of a pussy than a scumbag. Okay, it's not like he intentionally did anything like that. He's just soft. He's a soft dude. So what he did was scummy, but it wasn't like intentionally scummy. He's just a chump.
I'm just gonna say there's gonna be more to come on this guy.
There will be, and I understand why someone would have in their top 5. All right.
Yeah.
King William Edward I in Braveheart. Yes, I said his whole government name.
Yeah.
Long shanks? You got long shanks?
Yes. Yeah.
Long Shanks. He should have been top 5, but I found people that have done much more horrible things to him. Because I understand he's a king and you got to rule with an iron fist. But man, if there's how do I put this? He was. If Donald Trump had a brain, he would have been Long Shanks. That's how. That's the level of scumbag we're talking about. That kind of scumbag.
Golly.
I mean, just the blatant disregard for everything. And he was all about getting power. He was there for the power. He wanted it. All right, I got 2 more if y'all can bear with me. Scar from Lion King.
No, oh, okay.
Only animated character to make it. Now, the level of scumness that he pulled off. Not only did he kill his brother,
Yeah.
after he killed his brother, he exiled his son and made him think it was his fault. Then just
Yo.
ran the kingdom into the dirt.
Yo.
Just into the to the point where there was no fresh vegetation, and they aren't even vegetarian animals. They're all predators. How do how do you want things so bad that plants don't grow? Like, that is the worst thing I've ever. He's one of the stupidest things.
That sounds like top 5 material.
That is,
The reason why he's not top 5 is because you kind of lose the human element because it's a lion. I can't get into the mind of a lion. That's just how lions run their show. There's no loyalty in the jungle. Whatever.
All right.
And the last one, from my honorable, no, there's 2 more. Dang, I'm sorry. Mr. from The Color Purple.
Yeah.
Now, he should have been top 5.
Yeah, he's bad.
And the reason why he should have been top 5, I put in some other people that I think were just a little more disheartening. The reason why he's not in there is because I don't feel like he was ever expected to treat her right. Because of the time and era. It wasn't a thing where you don't buy a wife and then love her. You know what I'm saying? He purchased a wife and then he just, he treated her as if she was purchased.
How many Donald Trump references are we gonna have in this show?
Oh man.
Nobody? Okay, never mind.
Don't play. But the reason why I was really gonna put him on there is not because of how he treated her, it was because of how long he treated her that way. You're talking about a literal lifetime worth of just abuse, verbal and physical abuse for like 30 years. Like, how do you do that for 30 years? Hiding her letters, slapping her around. You can't give someone a backhand and ask for a shave. Like, that's just crazy talk. With a straight razor. It's nuts. That's just crazy talk to me. You know what I mean? And that's how
Mr. was terrible.
That's how respect he had for her. And I'm just like that. So I probably should have put him on top 5, but I'm happy with what I came up with. And the last one that I have, that most people are not going to agree with, but Tony Montana is one of the biggest dirtbags in movie history.
He's a dirtbag.
Look, I understand Frank did him a little greasy. Tried to kill him. Frank.
That's not a little greasy, but all right.
Just this little thing there,
A little greasy, I mean.
But I understand the reasoning behind Frank trying to get at him, because Frank was trying to keep his operation a certain way, and Tony was messing it up with his mouth trying to do too much. So after that, he kills Frank, takes his chick, you know what I'm saying? Then just drugs her all the way out. Kills his man for hollering at his sister, and then he messes up the whole drug trade because he didn't want to kill some kids. And he messed everything up for Sosa. Now Sosa got to start from scratch out there because Tony Montana has a code that does not make sense. He doesn't kill kids, but he has no problem shooting his best friend. His starter from the bottom, now we hear dude, in the chest over making his sister an honest woman. After he's seen dudes trying to stroke his sister out in the bathroom at a club. And that guy didn't have to die.
It's a family show. It's a family show. Family show.
It's the worst, man. But anyways, I had a couple more, but this is getting too, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking up too much time.
Go, Antoine, go, man.
I'll just run down it for sure. So my honorable. So Tony Montana was an honorable mention. Greg just all the way laid out why that is. Definitely, I had Tinkerbell from Peter Pan, so it's another animated character. Tinkerbell tried to have Wendy killed.
You got to go into that.
So,
you got to go into that.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Tinkerbell was a hater, She tried to have the Lost Boys kill Wendy. She had problems just like all around the board. She's not as good and sweet as they made everybody made her seem to be.
You
like
mean
she Tinkerbell.
That a woman that was jealous of another woman?
I know. Who would ever think?
What's this? What happened?
I mean, it just that leads into But Aj, that leads into another one. So Death Becomes Her. I don't remember the character's name.
Oh.
So this is Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep's character. So she's a star. She has no reason, but just because she can, she takes Goldie Hawn's husband, Madeline. So she takes her husband, who's a plastic surgeon.
Yes.
At the same time, she marries him after saying she wasn't going to do any of that. Her best friend goes to an insane asylum. She goes on to drink some potion to make her like basically have, live forever.
Like
so then yeah, it's just like, it's an insane story. And it's like, even at the end, after they run this man in the ground, it wasn't enough for her. So it's like Meryl Streep in it. And yeah, Death Becomes Her. I love the movie since I was a kid, but she's a dirtbag.
That's a great pull. That's a great pull, man.
Yeah.
Good yank.
Then I have Jada Pinkett as the FBI agent in Angel Is Falling. So the president might be dead, may not be dead. Gerard Butler is trying to tell her that he didn't do it. He's the Secret Service agent for him for like 3 movies at this point. And she's not trying to hear anything he has to say. He's handcuffed to a bed. He's sedated. He's trying to understand, is the president alive? She's running down all this stuff about you're going to jail and da-da-da. And it's like, yo, she got what she deserved by the end of the movie. But it was just like, she was a dirtbag to him the entire way, up until the point she realized he wasn't lying. And then by that time, she had a bullet in her head. So, it was what it was.
And to our out there, Jada Pinkett.
Jada Pinkett for her role in Entanglement.
Yo,
and I want to be like, how dare you? How dare you, sir? What you talk about that?
It was
you talking about Jada like that?
I don't know how I found myself here, Will. What happened?
I'm mad on behalf of Will. Yo.
We could do a whole episode on that alone, but I digress.
Look, Will is fine. All right, he's gonna be all right. Trust me. Will is not like
keep going. Nope.
So my other honorable mentions, let me run through them. I got Regina George in Mean Girls. She was just dirtbag all across the board for little to no reason. Again, Jordan Belfort, so DiCaprio inside Wolf of Wall Street. When he was throwing the little guy around and he was like, yeah, bust him in the head with this. I mean, they were literally, I'm like, he's a human. He's a little person. What are you doing? I mean, he has a lot of moments in that movie.
That's just good Wall Street fun, sir. I'm sorry.
That's the fun's put to use there. There we go. And my last, so I had 2 more that were honorable mention. One was Mike and Sheila from Why Did I Get Married? I shouldn't be laughing at those scenes when I see them, but I know somebody that was like that in real life, and I just thought it was hilarious, but in a bad way. So Mike he berated the hell out of Sheila every kind of way. I was like, yo, like, what are you doing? This is your wife. He's mad because she's taking up 2 seats on a plane, and what's funny is that she didn't even look big enough to take up 2 seats, but he was just going. Then the scene with the lingerie, it was just like, yo, Mike, no. Then...
Yo, he made her drive.
I know.
He's a scumbag.
He was pure scumbag. Pure.
You're not looking at it from his point of view. You think about
no, I'm not. He's scumbag.
He's a team player. Okay, that's what she is. She's a team player.
And so,
like, baby,
my last
ain't gonna print no car out there. I'm gonna drive the car out there. You fly. I got this. You don't need to pay for that extra seat. You see, y'all trying to shit on love. That's
about perspective. There it is.
Is that what it is? Oh man.
So my very last one for the honorable mentions was Drago from Rocky IV, because one, I was pissed he killed Apollo Creed. It was an exhibition match. I think people who see the movie, they forget that. Exhibition is supposed to be fun, a little light tapping, dance around, we all make money. My man came over here from, the USSR at the time and just kind of straight murdered him and had no remorse. He wouldn't even let him throw in the towel. The bell ring, he's still like hitting him, and it was just like, nah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah.
First off, I blame James Brown for that. If he wouldn't have put on that damn show like that, it made Dragon the things wouldn't have happened like that though.
There will be no Carl Weathers slander on this.
I blame James Brown, and I blame the translators. Because they obviously didn't tell Drago that they were just supposed to be in there playing. So whoever the Russian sign language person was or whatever, I blame that person for not making it clear. But
Hilarious. That's my honorable mentions. I could throw in the whole cast of teenagers from Cruel Intentions, but I'm gonna let them be. So there we go.
TJ had mentioned that one as well. Speaking of TJ, go ahead and give us your number 5, man. Your number 5.
My number 5 is Detective De La Pesha from The Hurricane. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not.
Yes.
Denzel Washington played Reuben Carter, the boxer.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he was the one. He's been after Denzel since he was maybe 11. Excuse me, after Hurricane since he was like 11 years old.
Yeah.
I think he even got him like when he came home from the army, threw him back into jail and stuff, and had been just, I don't know why he had such a hatred for him, but ended up penning him for a triple murder that he didn't do. And Hurricane ended up in jail for 3 decades or something like that. I just thought it was just disgusting, man. Disgusting.
That's a good one. I had a chance when we were actually at Hampton to meet the real life Hurricane. Yo, that shit hurt my heart when you find out after meeting a guy. Yeah, Reuben. Yeah.
Yeah, when Reuben.
And it was,
I saw him speak.
Oh yeah, and it was like, yo, you put this guy behind bars? Like all of that? That's just yeah. I ain't gonna derail it, but yeah, I got beat with that guy in real life.
We're good, man. I gave my reasons.
Scumbag certified.
Yeah, no doubt. He's one of the worst characters. Go ahead, man.
Juan, you want to go next? Or you want me to go next?
No, I can go next. So at number 5, I actually have Calvin Candy from Django. So, he's the slave owner, obviously scumbag, right? Maybe. Right. And so then you kind of look at the fact that he has Kerry Washington's character, I think Broomhilda, locked in the ground. And so then he makes them have to pay a $12,000 ransom or something like that, where he's going to beat her head in with a hammer. So he's not just doing that. He then has like the Mandingo fighting going on. So it's like, yeah, you pick cotton all day. Now guess what? Get in here and fight. I need a UFC before UFC. So it's just like, there were so many things in that movie that made him pure scum of the earth before he revealed who he really was. Because, you see him, he's smiling and shit. He's puffing a cigar and all of that. And it's like, everybody's like, oh, he's cool. It's like, no, he's a fucking slave owner who's beating people to death. Like, what are you doing? So Calvin Candy, Leonardo DiCaprio again, made my list twice here actually. So scumbag.
Yeah.
Yo, man.
Yo. See, that was a good one too. The only reason I didn't put on there is because he's a slave owner. Kind of goes with the territory.
Yes.
Like I don't expect anything of him. I expect exactly what happened. That's why he didn't make my list. That's just what I assumed he was.
That's just what they did.
Yeah.
They are who they thought they were. Dennis Green.
Yeah.
Who they thought we were. Go ahead, Greg. You can go ahead and give your 5, man.
Oh, my number 5 is Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I know that might be a little low for you guys' taste. The only reason he's not higher is because he did have very few good qualities. He did encourage the boy and all that and such to dream and go out there and, eat all those candy bars knowing they couldn't afford to go to the dentist.
Stop yourself.
However, Grandpa Joe is one of the scummiest dudes on the planet. How dare he lay up in that bed for I don't know how long.
20 years, bro.
It was 20 years?
20 years, bro.
He laid around for 20 years watching how old was Charlie? 10, 11?
He had a full-time job.
Like 10 or 11.
Charlie had 2 jobs, 2 jobs in school. His mom was basically, what was she, washing clothes for the whole neighborhood for a nickel? And she's sitting out there with ashy cracked hands in the summer. It's a shame. And as soon as some good news comes around, all of a sudden, Grandpa Joe can just hop up out of bed. And not only can he hop out of bed and go on this trip, he was there making bad decisions. Like, how are you gonna jump out? First off, you let your family starve for about 20 good years. And then when you go there, you trick an adolescent into stealing at Willy Wonka's place and almost got his head chopped off.
Pre-adolescent.
Sorry,
Charlie.
Even
On
worse.
top of that, after they got caught and fussed out, he was gonna take the gobstopper and sell it to Willy Wonka's competition. He is a complete and total dirtbag, all the way around 100%.
The only thing I didn't like about that explanation is that it gets into my explanation later. Anyway, so let me go ahead and give you my 5. My 5 is Remy from Higher Learning.
Good one.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why he made it. It wasn't just the fact that he was a racist at the end.
That's an amazing pick.
They tried to shoot up the campus. It was the fact that this dude was a scumbag before he was a racist. When he was trying to give dude a high five after he tried to rape old girl's roommate.
I forgot about that.
He was talking to
him.
Like it, man. Did she like it good? Did she like it good? And he was like, get away from me, man. You know, this guy through and through scumbag. Remy,
you know what?
Learning. Fantastic acting job from Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, Mike killed that joint, and I'm ashamed that I didn't think of it. Brilliant, sir.
You're welcome, America. All right. Let's go. We'll go in reverse order. Greg, man, what you got for number 4?
Number 4, I have got Jenny from Forrest Gump. I'm telling you right now, there are very few people that I have seen Hollywood try and make look like a good person that are actually complete and total gutter trash, compost, Alabama, backwoods garbage. She stinks. Everything she did stinks. All right, first off, look, let's just think about this clearly. First, she took full advantage of someone who was basically had Down syndrome. Like, how the hell does anyone make her have to be the good guy in any scenario? She strung Forrest Gump along literally from the time he got on his first school bus until the day she died. Until the day she died. And then she dumped off that AIDS baby and had him raise him because he was rich. If Forrest Gump was in the Mobile, Alabama, in a trailer park, she would not have come there and be like, Forrest, this is your kid. Wouldn't have happened. Then she married this dude that had the nerve to die 2 weeks later. And I'm pretty sure Forrest got AIDS. So I'm pretty sure Forrest Gump is Philadelphia. Because
yo, hey, you know what, man? Stop yourself. Stop yourself.
It's hard. It is one of the just hard throughout the whole scene, and Forrest was always there to save her. She gave him one quickie one time, and then just magically, that's his kid. Now it couldn't have been the 400 other dudes that you slept with on your coke benches out there in Frisco. You dirty slut. How dare she?
No,
how dare she?
There will be no
more.
more.
Like, oh, and then people were fooled by it. Like, this is definitely Forrest's kid. No, it wasn't. It didn't look like Forrest at all. You know that kid looked like? He looked like that hippie that backhanded her that Forrest Gump at that Black Panther party. That's what that looked like. That's what that kid looked like. But anyway, that's my reasoning behind it. She took advantage of a mentally handicapped person his entire life.
Enough, yo.
And I guess it makes her a good person because she told him to run.
Enough. Enough.
Hey,
I'm going.
Forrest, here's some good advice. Things happen, then run away from it because they're dangerous. Oh, well, thank you, Jimmy. I would have never figured that out.
I'm going, yo. This is how
He ain't that damn. But go ahead.
I'm going. I'm going. All right. My number 4 was the Smoke Dog, Smokey from Friday. Because Smokey is one of the worst friends. And with friends like Smokey, You don't need any enemies. Now I will say this, a caveat. Smokey's mom was also terrible. his mom is happening.
There it is.
Which brings me to another actual, for me to derail the show real quick, brings me to another honorable mention that could not be in the show, is that Stranger Things dad. Scumbag. Anyway, so back to what I was saying before. Yeah, Smokey. Not only did he endanger the lives of everybody in the neighborhood and get Craig into a fight, but he got him basically shot at. Like that, he involved into this criminal enterprise, saying we smoked all the stuff, we did this, we did that. Craig didn't hardly do none of that. Craig made fun of Craig for getting fired on his day off. Set him up for her to be like, ask that bitch for some money, and set him up for that. I mean, he was a terrible friend. And to be quite honest, I think that's why Snoopy wasn't on the rest of the Fridays. So there you go. Craig wised up and was like, you know what, I can get weed from anywhere. I don't need to talk with this no more. No more. Smoke dog number 4.
That worked.
Antoine, go, man.
Yeah. Laughing at that one still. So that's why he didn't appear in the rest of the Fridays.
There's no way he could come back.
No, he got better friends. So my number 4 is straight to the point. It's Jennifer Aniston in Horrible Bosses as Dr. Julia. And so she was straight sexually harassing Dale the entire movie. She turned around. He was drugged up. She takes all these pictures on her iPad or whatever in all these different positions, making it look like something happened that didn't, was blackmailing him with that. Invited the man into a meeting. He thinks everything is all right. She's half naked. He doesn't know what to do. She walks up, licks him behind the neck. I mean, it's just any number of ways. He was in a no-win situation that entire movie. Actually, for both movies, if I'm not mistaken. So
Okay.
she made my number 4.
I disagree completely. What he was the best boss ever. Full advantage of the opportunities that he had to be employee of the month. That's what he
Well,
did.
Greg,
He messed up.
she opened the front door for him while he was supposed to be spying on her and looked at him like, come on in. He didn't know what to do.
That dude did was miss out on the opportunity. That's what he did. Now, granted, if she looked like Harvey Weinstein, then she's a dirtbag.
Oh, man.
But the fact that she was, I say that dude just missed out on the opportunity.
He missed out on a good day at work. There it is.
I would have been working late every night. I'm not gonna make it. The boss got me tied up.
we literally
got an emergency motor to fix. There's things going on here.
TJ, you're 4, man.
Hold on.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, you didn't do your 4 yet?
No, he hasn't
No,
done it.
but what were we gonna say?
Oh no, I was gonna give more honorable mentions, but go ahead and do your 4 first, and I'll do mine after that.
Oh, okay. All right, so mine is on the same kind of theme, but 100 times lower. It's Cardinal Bernard Law, who's the Archdiocese of Boston.
Yeah.
If you guys ever saw the movie Spotlight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that's just, I don't know that you can get a whole lot lower than being in an authoritative position like that and knowing that this stuff is going on and just taking the problem and moving it somewhere else so that other kids can be abused.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it light. I'll say abused. Well, sodomized. How about that?
God,
That's not light at all.
Yeah, I figured I was just,
sitting there like,
I was gonna go light, and then I said, forget it. I'll just go ahead and say it.
like, that's midnight.
Yeah, I don't want to not beating around.
PG
uncut.
I'll just say it like it is.
You could have used
No, since-
fondle, touch.
I could have, well, the one guy was saying that's all he did was fondle, right? He was saying he didn't do all this bad stuff. But regardless of the degree of abuse, all of it really goes back to this guy, covering it up and moving stuff around, allowing this thing to keep going. I mean, I don't know And then to do all this under the veil of the cloth, right? Or the clergy. I just thought it was base, low, terrible. So the reason why I use the strong language is because we are talking about dirtbags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the pit.
I will say, TJ, I like the angles that you're taking. I personally didn't use like people. I try not to use people, I should say, that were based on real people because, you know, I just didn't. But I don't disagree with anything that you come with so far have been like straight fire. So, good Lord, man.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah. Greg, go ahead and you can do your 3, and then that way you can slide in your honorable mentions as well.
Oh, no, I'm gonna slide in my honorable mention first.
Okay.
Because it's not gonna take long. I've got 2 honorable mentions from the same movie.
Wow.
Paid in Full.
Oh.
All right.
Ice, the dude's uncle, Ice, and Calvin.
That is a great honorable mention. Calvin.
The absolute pits. I've never seen jealousy on that level in my life. These guys are the absolute worst. I can't believe there should have been some kind of award given out to the dude to play Calvin. Like, I've never seen anyone play a douchebag so well. It's so convincing. He was just the worst.
Yo, shout out to the homie Richard Banks, who used to do the joint from Calvin when he didn't have the lens. He'd be like, yeah, we're gonna go out to eat, bro.
And you're supposed to be hitting that. All right.
Get on with your 3.
Number 3, Randolph and Mortimer from Trading Places. I'm gonna tell you right now, the thing that makes these two such horrible people is because they ruined a man's life for shits and giggles. Like, for literally no reason. They just had a bet. These dudes are worth, I don't know how many of millions, possibly billions they are worth. But for $1 bet, they decided to ruin a whole man's life. And a good life at that. It wasn't like he worked in the mail. Like, they ruined a whole man's life just because they could. For no other reason than that. None. And then they brought up a dude from the ghetto and they put him in the spot and they realized, oh, he's not an idiot. And even after that, if they wouldn't have, you know, if Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy wouldn't have deceived them back, only thing that was gonna happen was they were just gonna ruin his life too and just put him right back in the projects. They were the scummiest dudes because 1, they did it for no reason. 2, they were on a level that was so big that there's nothing that anyone could have done about it. Even if you pointed out all these things to the police and everything else, nothing would have happened. They wouldn't have gone to trial. They wouldn't even go to court. In fact, those guys probably would have ended up dead, more than likely, for trying to tell them. The fact that they did all this,
Randolph,
for literally nothing. I don't even know how
they said it was for a good cause.
Yeah,
$1.
They literally did this for nothing, for $1 bet. Horrible. I don't know how you crush a man's whole life. He was sleeping. He shared an apartment with a prostitute. Like, how do you go? How low does it get, man? How low does it get? when you're on that level.
TJ, you go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, number 3 for me?
Yeah.
All right, I got Tom Ripley from The Talented Mr. Ripley. Not a real person, but a through and through. I mean, there's just nothing redeemable about this guy, man. I mean, he betrayed the trust of every single person that he came in contact with in this movie. In the very first scene, he lied to dude's dad. He borrowed someone's jacket to play piano, and it was a Princeton jacket. Somebody came up to him and says, "Oh, you go to Princeton? You must know my son." He's like, "Oh yeah, what's his name?" I mean, just from there, just the whole thing was all lies, deceit. He ended up killing, I guess it was a friend of his, more than one friend of his, all to try to cover his tracks, right? cover his lies, cover his tracks. So I don't know that I don't think you've seen the movie.
I did not.
He ended up. I'll make this quick. So this guy, Mr. Greenleaf, ends up coming up to him about his jacket, saying, "Oh, you must know my son, Dickie." Right. So Dickie is in Europe. He won't come back home. So Mr. Greenleaf, Dickie's father, sends Thomas Ripley over to Europe. He's paying his way, right? Mm-hmm. Paying for his trip, paying for expenses and everything for him to try to convince him to come home. He gets over there. He's not doing that at all. He's hanging out with his son and he's partying and he's, I guess he was actually falling for the guy's son. He was trying to get between his son and his girlfriend. It was really, really bad. He's lying to Dickie. He's lying to Dickie's father. He's lying to Dickie's girlfriend. He's lying to all the people that they meet in Europe and that are in their circles. And he has to keep on trying to keep people from figuring out his game. He actually ends up killing Dickie and then trying to take over his life. He becomes Dickie to these towns of people that don't know him very well. He's impersonating. So he's living that guy's life. He's deceiving people the whole time. It was bad. The very last scene, he killed another person who trusted him and that he actually cared about. But he ran into somebody else on this boat that he was trying to flee again. And she knew him as Dickie. And she said, "Oh, are you here with, I forget that name was Peter." He's like, no, I'm here by myself. So then he has to go and kill Peter so that he can make it look like he's by himself again. That was really how the movie ended. He ended up having to strangle Peter. And he was terrible.
That is scummy. That is pretty low.
Yeah. If you see the way he framed people, it's bad, man.
I think I can match it, but that's pretty good. Antoine,
yeah, you might be able to. But yeah, I'm good. That's
So I'll make it quick. My number 3 is the last real person that I have on the list. Is Hitler from the movie Downfall. So one thing in particular, great film, but I think obviously, Hitler's bad. He's a douchebag, but nothing for more than this at this point in the movie where they're in the bunker and his men are trying to tell him, "Hey, we lost. You got to get this stuff," right? He doesn't want to hear it. He's like, "What about this person and that person?" No, they couldn't make it. So he berates them in front of everybody, makes everybody leave his room, then proceeds to tell his top 4 commanders or whatever, he should have had them executed like Stalin had his people done. Then he berates them some more just to tell them, "Oh, you think I'm leaving Berlin? Nah, only way I'm going to do that is from a bullet from my gun." Gets a little foreshadowing, and it's just horrible all the way around. He was a scumbag to the end, refused to even concede that, you know what, we lost. They don't even know what they were fighting for at this point. So it was just all around that. So but definitely a good movie to check out if you haven't seen it.
That was one of the illest monologues in history right there. That joy was insane.
But on the comical side, I kept waiting for his mustache to come off every time he was yelling. I was like, "It's holding on."
So my number 3 is a name that no one is familiar with, including myself. I had to look it up to get the name for the character, but the actor was Jude Law, and the character's name was Alan Cromwell, I think. Alan Cromwell. He's a Cromwell from Contagion, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you haven't, y'all have all seen Contagion, I assume, right?
Yeah, been a little bit. Yeah.
That was the one where Gwyneth Paltrow was cheating on I think it was Matt Damon, and she ended up dying over in China. She got one of the diseases, and then basically the world ended up being what it was. But what made Jude Law's character such a scumbag, and this guy, like I don't think I've ever hated somebody during a movie more than this dude. He was basically Rush Limbaugh. He was basically Alex Jones. He was sitting there saying what would work and what wouldn't work, and they're gonna kill you with these vaccines, and they're doing this and they're doing that. And he was making all kinds of money, cash, whole bunches of cash off of this during a pandemic and running around and spreading these misrumors, getting more people killed. He was a dirtbag. And at the time when I saw it, I was like, man, this would never happen in real life.
Bum, bum, bum.
And that takes us to our sponsor, or actually somebody who sponsors us, which is Soul Glow product, Soul Glow for your hair, you know, other stuff. Let your soul glow. Oh, so silky smooth. Today, we like to promote Black-owned businesses. Shout out to Black Advancement for letting us do this. So the one that I'm highlighting today is Tina Rose Events and Weddings. They're an award-winning shop out there in Northern Virginia. If you get a chance to, go check them out. Also, shout out, of course, to our boy, the Odd Ninja, Jason Ryan. Happy birthday, Chief. Boom, boom, boom. Greg, who you shouting out today?
The person that made this hoodie.
Nice.
I don't want to jack up there, but I think it's Philippo?
Philip?
Philippo. It's this lady from the Caribbean does all these hoodies and designs with Black empowerment stuff like clothing. So I'm gonna actually have to go back and make sure I said the name right. But yeah, the people that made this is literally the worst promotion that she's probably ever had.
Thank you. TJ, go on.
All right, today I'm shouting out my girl D. Online store. It's actually part of the Amazon website. So to get to it is amazon.com/shops/D supplies. That's DEE. So it's brand new online store. Inventory changes a lot, so don't just go once if you're gonna go check it out. I'm sure she'd appreciate it.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Antoine, what's the one?
Today, I'll shout out Mishi Marshall and Brandon Marshall with House of Athlete down in Florida. I'm big into protein and working out, and they promote both lifestyle and fitness. Also a place for athletes trying to make that leap to the next level to make the pros. So shout out to House of Athlete.
Nice. That was good. So with all those bills paid and out of the way, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. We're down to the final two for everybody.
I want to go first.
Go, Antoine, go.
I want to go first because my number 2 should be my number 1, but I hate my number 2 so much that I made him number 2. So,
yeah!
Oh, that's nice.
So my number 2 is Robert Redford from Indecent Proposal. So,
wow.
If you don't know Indecent Proposal, right? You have Demi Moore and I think Woody Harrelson, and they're like a nice couple and everything is great with them. But they're about, they're running into money problems. They're about to lose some land, and so they're trying to make, I think it's $50,000 or whatever. So bottom line is they need some money. They go to Vegas. He wins a little bit of money, Woody Harrelson, but then he loses a lot of it the next day. During their time in Vegas, Robert Redford is eyeballing his lady. So like most women, she notices, but she doesn't say anything. Clearly, this man looks like he has money. They need money. So eventually, they're about to go broke. They go to the table where he's like winning money. He tells her to come over and be his good luck charm. He knows what he's doing at this point. This is Robert Redford, by the way. Wins a lot of money. They find out he's a billionaire. Long story short, short story long. Later on, they have a great evening. He offers them, I think, $1 million or something like that to sleep with his wife. And so at first she's like, me? Who do you think I am? They reject it. Next thing you know, after some thinking, sure, why not? So she sleeps with him, of course, and thinking it was going to end there. It doesn't. So, of course, Woody Harrelson, eventually they have some friction over it or whatever. She actually starts having lingering thoughts about Robert Redford. Robert Redford goes on with his life. They go back. They find out the land is been foreclosed and sold. Guess who bought the land? You guessed it, the billionaire, Robert Redford. So now, if that doesn't make things worse, you also have to look at the fact that now this man, Woody Harrelson, and his wife, Demi Moore, are now separated. So what is the first thing that she does? She goes running back to the billionaire and she sleeps with him some more. She starts to date him. She says, you know what? I like this billionaire lifestyle. So now Woody Harrelson has to look at this. He's going broke. Things are just getting worse and spiraling out of control. And this man pretty much played you, right? And so eventually he starts doing a little bit better. But long story short, you know, basically Robert Redford ruins their life. He doesn't care. And at the end, Demi Moore eventually leaves him. He tells some lie, basically. He feels bad, I think, at the end about it. Not really, but he had his fun. He tells her, like, you're just one of the billionaire bunnies or whatever like that. And she's like, you know, so she goes running back to where they first met at. And just coincidentally, guess who's there? Woody Harrelson. So she takes his hand, you know, they profess their love for each other again and all that shit. But screw all that. This man intentionally went in knowing he was going to ruin their life.
Jeez.
And again, it goes back to the thing where people say, I think it was George Bernard Shaw, everybody got a price, which is trying to identify what you are or whatever. And it was just like, I don't know. It was about as scumbag as you can get on every level. Like that was like the Cliff Notes speed version of the movie, but he did a lot of fucked up shit. And it was just like, wow.
You gotta punch a dude in the face.
So that was
I have to ask. Is Robert Redford really the dirtbag?
No,
Or is it
we're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna do that, man.
There's a case to be made that there's two of them in that movie. If you're going where I think you're going.
Not only did she just whore herself out for a couple of bucks, after things went wrong, she went back to the dude that whored her out.
Just shut your logic up. You shut up with your logic. You shut up
But you're not taking him off the hook, right? You're just saying that he's not alone.
I'm
not taking him off the hook.
Django.
She was showing up to charity events with him. I mean, she really started living it up. She was like, yo, I'm here now. She's like, what land? Who needs 50,000 for that land anymore? I got $1 billion there. You better get a job at Whole Foods. I don't know what to tell you.
She didn't even slide the money back to Woody. That's the thing. She didn't even try to slide money back to Woody. That's
no.
I'm gonna say, Robert.
No, she didn't.
I'm gonna need that to be a dual douche effort. You gotta throw her.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it.
He simply made a request. She didn't have to leave her husband and follow through and go through and do all the rest of the stuff and rub it in his face, living on the land that her billionaire boyfriend bought from under them. Yeah, she didn't have to do all that.
I can't say what I want to say on this broadcast, but I'm gonna continue this another time.
Stop yourself. Stop yourself. Hey,
So that's my number 2.
Golly. Hey, I'm gonna go next because I don't want anybody to have to follow that. I'll go next. That is
a good one.
That made me upset just thinking about it. I was like, man. So my number 2 was mentioned before, actually as an honorable mention, and it was Oppum, Saving Private Ryan. And what made him the biggest scumbag, one of the biggest scumbags ever in movie history to me, wasn't the fact that he was scared. Because I mean, I think anybody's going to be scared in war. Some people might even be scared to the point of where they can't react, right? Where you can't fight. And that's kind of understandable. I think even people who are at war would be like, this person is just too scared. They don't want to die. I understand. This isn't really their cup of tea. They even know they're over here. Everybody can go about their own thing. They can understand somebody being a coward. But what really makes me upset about Apple is that he was only brave when it came to saving his reputation. Because the guy who they let go saw him and recognized him. He only shot one shot the whole movie, and that was to kill that dude. That was it. And that was only because that guy knew it. And then he let the rest of them leave. He couldn't muster up that kind of strength to shoot a dude when I believe this was on Greg's Best Deaths, was in there scrapping it out, and he heard the whole thing. He couldn't muster that strength when they had the dude who was obviously like doing stuff. Who was one of the top. It seemed like German officers in there when they had him under lock and key. He was talking all of these highfalutin words and stuff like that, and that would have been fine if he was consistent all the way through. But he wasn't. When it came to it coming down to his reputation and his stuff being on the line, and I believe this is actually the guy who shot my number 1 as far as deaths in a movie, Captain Miller. I believe this is the same dude who shot Captain Miller, who on numerous occasions saved Oppum's life, not only literally, but also as his reputation. So, man, this guy he's dirt. He's one of the lowest of the low. When I had a conversation with some of my friends about this was the first guy they mentioned, and I was like, he's my number 2, and they was like, if he's your number 2, I gotta see who your number 1 is. So that's how low this guy is. Indecent Proposal, wow. But yo, this guy was dirt. P, you're next.
For sure.
What's that? I'm next.
Yeah.
All right. My number 2 is probably going to be extremely unpopular, but I'm putting him there anyway because you know who I'm going. My number 2 is Yoda from Star Wars.
Yo.
Now, here is my synopsis of it. I can already see Antoine's upset. So Antoine, you probably know more about Star Wars than me, so maybe you can help me out here. So the way that I see Yoda, so Anakin Skywalker was the chosen one, right? He had more of whatever that stuff is in his system that connects him to the Force than anybody in the history of the universe, right? So to me, it seems like he's very special, right? Like LeBron James, or LeBron doesn't need to go through 4 years of college.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah,
he can go straight to the NBA, right? Anakin Skywalker, I think he was kind of picked up maybe later in his life than they normally do for people that are going to go through the Jedi training or whatever. But the point is that he was special, right? And in my opinion, he should have been treated special, but he wasn't. He was treated like everybody else, right? And when it was time, I think it was his master or whatever, Obi-Wan wanted to promote him, right? And then Yoda was one of the people on the council that was against it. No, not him, right? Now, Obi-Wan seemed to be doing a good job. He was a little rough around the edges, right? Because he was raised in the ghetto by his mom. And, like I said, he's got more of this stuff in the system than anybody else. So, number one, they were denying him what I think should have been his rightful promotion, right? His rightful place should have been on the council. They robbed him of that. His mother was in trouble. Now, he's got more of this stuff in him than anybody, right? So they don't know how he was feeling. They basically told him, forget about her, man. Forget that. Now, I mean, couldn't you have just said, okay, maybe you don't let him go help, but you say, we'll take care of it. We'll send somebody to go check on your mom or something, right? But they tell him, forget that, man, right? So now the guy's all broken up about that, right? Nobody's got his back except for Obi-Wan, right? After all this stuff, the Emperor starts sprinkling that honey in his ear. I would have let you do it. I would have, if it was me, I'd be treating you good. And so, of course, what happens? He ends up saying, you know what? You're right, man. Screw these guys. Screw these guys. So now, after Yoda messes all this up, what does he do? When everybody's fighting, he goes off on some planet and sits in the mud by himself while everybody else is fighting the fight that he caused, right? And now, on top of all that, Obi-Wan gives his life to try to make sure that Anakin's son doesn't do the same thing. He sends Aunt Luke to Yoda, and Yoda tries to do the same thing to him. Don't go help your friends. Don't help them. Let them die. Let them perish. Right? Thankfully, Luke doesn't listen to him, and he goes and he helps his friends, and he doesn't end up being the next Darth Vader. So to me, all of that, the whole problem in the whole universe was because Yoda didn't do what he should have done, and that's treat special people special.
He's a bad coach.
That's it for my number 2.
Gotta clap him up on that. Let me tell you, I've never heard anybody publicly say that. And you're 100% right.
All right.
It's all Yoda's fault.
Yo!
Been having an argument for years. Thank you, TJ. Thank you. It was 100% Yoda's fault. Everything. I'm gonna shut up.
I thought you were against
everything. I didn't know where you were going with it at first, but yes. No.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, the fact that you said no one's ever said that in public, you made it sound like it was Malcolm X when he said something bad about Elijah Muhammad.
I don't know who's gonna be coming after me after this, but hey, I just tell it like I see it, man.
Words in public. Across the airwaves. The Yoda black.
Greg, you gotta give your 2, man. You gotta give your 2.
My number 2 is Kathy Bates, aka Annie Wilkes from Misery.
Wow.
No one has ever had an opportunity to look. Her favorite person on the whole planet literally falls in her lap, and she does the exact thing that you would never do to someone that you look up to and admire. She took advantage of this dude in ways that was just beyond uncalled for. Like, first she took his book and burned it in his face because she didn't like the language. Then she went in there and chastised him because he killed off a character, a fictional character in a book that she loved. Meanwhile, she kept on telling him that the people are coming to save him, but they weren't. Then she hobbled him, broke his legs for no reason.
That seems hard to watch.
It was just, and like the thing that makes her so bad is because it was her favorite person in the world. Like that'd be like who are you a big fan of? like, I'm a huge fan of Common. Like, I would never think to listen to Common's album and say it's scum and then burn that shit and then beat him in his knees with a bat and then
that's you. There's a lot of people like
then make him rewrite his whole album to my liking. Like, what? Like,
it sounds even more crazy when you say that.
Yeah, like and plus I put myself in his scenario. It was the most hopeless scenario for that man that there could ever be. That's what he was. There was nothing. I mean, there was literally nothing he could do. He was handicapped, completely physically destroyed, and she just took full advantage of him. Beat the man. She hobbled him. She used old slave tactics, like she used old master tactics on this man. Then yelled at him and spilled a hot soup on him and blaming it on him. Like, had that damn pig in his room hanging out. Like, and I'm just looking at it from his perspective. It is literally the most uncomfortable thing that I've like. It is the biggest nightmare scenario that you could ever have in life. And then she was gonna kill him at the end, regardless of what happened. No matter how the book turned out, no matter how nice he was, didn't matter. She was just the worst. Like, I've never even dreamed of anyone being that horrible, especially to someone that they love, look up to, and admire, who's basically saved her from committing suicide. He wrote the books that kept her off the noose. And she treated him that way.
She killed the sheriff too, right?
Huh?
Yeah,
Didn't she kill the sheriff? She killed the sheriff.
Oh yeah, she killed the sheriff, but come on, she had to do that.
Yeah.
He was in too deep at that point.
She's the deputy though.
That's right.
Yeah. Hanging around, Black. All right, hey, so
you got?
know what we do in this position. You know, we're down to our final one. Who wants to go first?
I mean, I can knock mine out real quick.
Oh, Greg's in a violent chop. Go ahead.
My number one scumbag is Steven from Django, Samuel Jackson's house nigga character, which is he is just like anyone who could possibly turn his back on his entire race and make me believe it as an actor. Like, Samuel Jackson should have got an Oscar for this. I absolutely hated him. If I didn't know who Samuel Jackson was, I would hate that nigga to this day because of that role. Because you were talking about, was it Leonardo DiCaprio, what he did in this movie as a
right,
as a slave master. But none of that is possible.
Of course.
None of that can really go through the as smooth as it should have gone through without that house nigga, Samuel Jackson. He was the worst of the absolute worst. And I've never wanted someone to die so bad in my life. and that includes people in real life that I really want to see dead.
Nice.
I'll go.
I like that pick. I love it. I love it.
You mind if I go? Because mine's already been mentioned, so I want to.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, let me go just to get it out of the way. My number one is Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Greg, you laid it out before, but I'll just reiterate that he was laying there for 20 years, 2 decades. He's been laying there getting taken care of by a woman in, what year was this, 1905?
It was like 19 teens. It was in the 19 teens.
Do you have any idea how hard it must have been for a woman to even find a job back then? And then she's got to wash clothes in not like in a machine, you know, like in like a cauldron or something, making doing all this hard work.
Yo, TJ,
throwing stuff around with an oar from a boat, huh?
Because mine is the same. She was serving,
Okay.
She was serving soup sandwiches, like literally.
Yeah, she was. And for him to, for her to give that much, and for them to finally catch some kind of a break, and for Grandpa Joe to get his old wrinkly butt out of bed after 20 years of freeloading. I'm just gonna call it what it is: freeloading. Off of somebody who could probably, even if it was just her and her son, would have been a very difficult. She's taking care of there was 4 of them laying in the bed, right?
There was 4 of them laying in the bed, head to toe.
He was basically taking care of 5 people.
Soup sandwich. Charlie had to get a full-time job looking in the candy stores. Looking in the candy stores, selling them dreams. Go ahead, TJ. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. I just can't. I can't really tell you how. I'll just tell you how I feel about Grandpa Joe. I think he is a repugnant, lowbrow, mouth-breathing creep. And as a character, I hope that he dies a very painful and slow death. And I'll leave it there.
Yo,
here's a question that I have about that too.
Yo,
I kind of want to put Charlie in the dirtbag list too a little bit.
He's a kid.
I know he's a kid. That's why he's
under the influence of Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, selling them dreams.
Is he oh my God, Grandpa, you can walk. I'm gonna take my mom there. These guys, right? You gonna meet my mom now? And if now, would have proved everyone's point 100%, which would have made him the goat of horribleness. Is if he'd have like, oh no, Charlie, my legs are going. And made him down in that bed.
I can't rock with you on that. You know why? Because the reason why he was so close with Grandpa Joe is because his mother was out working.
Yeah, TJ.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have no rebuttal, sir.
And he was gonna sell the gobstopper to old dude. Man, I can't stand this dude, yo. He's so fizzy lifting drinks. They have to be washed. He gets nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right, man. That's right. Sorry, I didn't know you had the same one as me, man. Otherwise, I'll let you go.
Nah, man, he's the worst, yo. All I gotta say is this, yo. Charlie had a full-time job, had to look at other kids getting candy by that pervert candy dude who was sitting out there throwing candy to everybody. He had to scrimp and save. His mama was out there with her hands all busted up, singing Cheer Up Charlie when she had to work 18 hours a day just to make it right. Grandpa Joe was out there spreading honey in his ear, buying candy bars. God knows how he got them. He probably walked the whole time.
Yeah, how the hell did he get that candy bar?
That's a good point.
Hey, look, man, man. Hey, listen, man. He was doing the most without doing anything. He probably stinks. Probably have taken a bath and God knows how. He was in there cold. She was in there making soup sandwiches, sitting there stirring stuff in a little cauldron. Huh?
Change your bedpans, man.
Yeah.
His mom's probably died an early death, yo.
No, she didn't. They went to that chocolate factory.
We know at least one of them went.
Yo, let's go land while I go, man. We're running over.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Your whole tone changed, so I know that you really think he's a dirtbag.
Oh, this is the worst thing alive. This is the worst dude on the screen, Jack. You understand? God.
So, my number one is Joe Pesci from Goodfellas, and so Tommy DeVito. So I fucking hated Tommy, right? So let me tell you, it's nothing worse than somebody with Napoleon. There's nothing worse than somebody with Napoleon complex. This little dude runs around the entire movie terrorizing everybody, you know, lying to his mother. Somebody met a nice girl, woke up the next day, he's free every day. Shoot Samuel L. Jackson for not doing what he knew he wasn't gonna do. You know, it's like, what are you doing? He's doing everything out of line just to try to be a made man. So by the time he gets, and Billy Batts is at his party, you know, his coming home party, and you know, he knows you alone. This is what you were. He was joking on him, you know, with the shine box and all of that sort of thing. And so next thing you know is like, wait, the entire movie, which his entire life, right? He's insulting people. He's a rotten bastard, basically, but he can't take one joke. One. So if that wasn't enough, what makes him more of a scumbag? This guy has not seen you in years. He says he's just busting your balls. He hadn't seen you, right? He just got home. You kill him. You jump him with your boys. Then at the last minute, because your fist wasn't working there so much, right? He's a little guy. Pulls out the gun to finish the job. And I'm like, this is what it is. He got what he deserved when they pretended to make him a made man and, you know, gave him what he was asking for the whole movie. So, yeah, definitely top level scumbag material. Like I said, he's really my number two. But I hate my number two so much that Pesci had to be here.
I think Robert Redford would have been a better number one, though. That dude
vehemently
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah. Right.
Tommy was a stand-up dude for his boys.
No,
Period.
he was ready to kill his own boy.
And
The scene where he's like, yo, what's funny?
And he
You find this
deserved
funny?
beat up.
That's right.
You know who the real scumbag was on there? Henry. That's who the scumbag was.
Oh.
Henry Hill was the scumbag. And you know what? He's lucky that
You
Tommy
can't do
was
it, Karen. You can't do it.
I would have accepted almost anyone else in that movie other than Tommy. What's his name? Whose wigs don't fall off. I would have accepted him. I would have accepted Morty. Anyone.
Yeah, I think it was Morty. Yeah.
Oh, ball busted Morty. Tommy was a stand-up dude. The whole movie for his crew. Now, was he out of line? Yeah, a little bit.
A whole lot.
A little bit. But he was out of line in the confines of his homies. Like, you couldn't do nothing to Henry Hill or, what's his name?
Jimmy?
Jimmy. You couldn't do nothing to them because of Tommy. Tommy had their back 100%. I would have accepted the other mobster movie that in Casino.
Casino.
Yeah, Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey was
a
complete scum.
Yeah, he was.
He was way worse than Tommy. I refuse to believe that because me and Joe Pesci are the same height. To bring up this Napoleon complex there.
All right, man. Well, even if you're short and you have to go get your shine box, there's always three things to take away from this Zoomcast. Number one, when Rush Limbaugh dies, no one here is silent. Number two, when Star Wars fans come for you, you come back with them with facts, because facts don't care about your feelings. And number three, when it comes to being a dirtbag and you can't find employment, remember, there's always work at the post office. That's HollyHood, jerks.